I think if you haven't watched that swap, you might not know I have this one. I don't want to get rid of it because I love it. I'm surprised I don't show it more because it is really cool. I'm definitely not proud of this one. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video voted on by my patrons in my sort of monthly patron video poll. This month I asked them what sort of collection video they would like to see from me, and they picked this one out. It is plants that I don't talk about very much or at all. So much so that some or many of you might not even know I have some of these plants. Like, Claire didn't know I had one of these plants, and that's just crazy. She knows all my plants. So, sorry if the camera moved a little bit. Cleo is just here. She wants to say hi. Hello. We were away this past weekend, and so she definitely has missed us and is very clingy because of it. But you can sit here, baby, as long as you're nice and chill. I don't think that's a guarantee. So yeah, I guess we should get into it. But before we do, I just want to say, if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. And also a big thanks to my patrons for picking this video out. So I guess let's begin. I think I want to start with the one that kind of like prompted the idea of this one. I should say, made a video like this before, though it might have been a Patreon video. I've made so many videos at this point, I can't remember what's been what and where. So the plant that prompted this video is this one right here. Claire and I did a plant swap a couple weeks ago now. It's been a minute. And, oh Cleo, let's not move my tripod loads. Yeah, let's shift the angle. Okay, so it's out of the sun, so hopefully she stops rolling around in it in between the legs of my tripod. But I went to go swap plants with Claire, and I was really struggling with picking what plants I wanted to swap with her, because we have a lot of the same plants within our collections. No, it's mine. And I was really struggling at what to pick out, and I was like scouring everything I could think of. And then I remembered that I had this plant. Well, I didn't forget that I had this plant. I always known that I've had it, but this is a Philodendron Cream Splash. I don't think the camera picks up quite how creamy it is in its variegation. Like, it is so much less green than the Brazil that I have. I think, which leaf? This leaf is probably the best that you can see it in, though it's not really showing up well. But basically, I don't ever show this plant because I think it looks kind of funky. I haven't been able to like really get it growing on the pole properly yet. I also have not been good about keeping this pole moist. You can hear that is not fully dry moss, but not damp either. Oh goodness, okay. It's also in pond, and I've done a horrendous job. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know this was the case. I've done a horrendous job about keeping it wet. Like, basically the bottom of the stem there, that's all dead. So I guess it's just living inside of the pole now, which is not what I thought. You can see, I sometimes forget about these plants. Like, I know I have it, but it's not necessarily the top of my care list. It is a very easy care, chill plant. So if you want something like a step above a Philodendron Brazil, or like a heartleaf philodendron that's a little bit more on the uncommon side, they're not rare by any means, but just like less normal, then maybe a cream splash is a good one for you. I do also find though that the leaves get like really warped because of the cream in them. I think it's just like the lack of pigmentation. I don't know if it's just my one or all cream splashes, but the leaves just, they don't sit as flat as the Brazil leaves do, and so I find it harder to appreciate its beauty as much. I still think it looks cool and it's nice and weird, but I think I probably need to start over with this one now that I've noticed that it is dead-ish. I don't know, because it's got like a root down there. Like there's a root, so I'm really unsure. I'll have to have a look at this one more thoroughly. I've had a very busy month so far this May, and so it's just been a bit hectic and I've not been as on top of my plant care as I would have wanted to be. But this is the first plant, and I'm just very surprised that I don't think about it as much, because I really, really love this plant now, and I wanted one for so long before I got one. So I'm very glad I have it. It's just not one that I think about much anymore, unfortunately. Up next, I guess I will show you this one because you can see it in the background. This is my Thalmatophyllum Bipinati Fitum that I got again from Claire. I'm just mentioning her loads. I think those are the only two that actually relate to her. So she rescued this one from a dumpster and basically brought it back to life along with another one, and when we did a swap ages and ages ago, she very kindly gave me one of the two rescue plants. And I think if you haven't watched that swap, you might not know I have this one, just because it's such a chilled out plant. I really don't think about it that much. I probably underwater it a little bit. I am a chronic underwaterer, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. But it is still growing quite well. I would love for it to get some more of these like cool loby leaves. Hey, Cleo, that's my plant. You can't have it. That's my hand. You can't have that. But I would love to get some more of these sort of like super loby leaves, because I think they look really cool. Down, please. I just got smacked in the face. You can sit on my lap, or you can sit off of my lap. Oh, this is gonna be a tough one to film. She's just very needy right now, which is fair because we've been away for a minute. What was I saying? Yes, I want more of these cool loby leaves because I think they look awesome, and it is growing them, so obviously it's not like the most unhappy in the world, but it's I did remove some yellow leaves before this video in order to make this one look slightly more presentable for you. But yeah, it just kind of lives on the top shelf in the office, and so it's like not quite a filler plant because I think it's way cooler than a filler plant, but it's quite big and I don't have tons of just like area that I can put big plants like this. So I guess it kind of is what it is. I love it, but it's not one that I like go to as one of my favorites, if that makes sense. Let's talk about this one next. This right here is a Syngonium T24, I believe. And I'm pretty sure the T24 is a variegated Syngonium, and I promise this one is or was, but it's kind of lost its variegation a little bit. I have this one living in my pond box, and I've taken it out to put it in a jar just right now, but like, oh my goodness, look at this root. Is that not crazy? It just like keeps going. But it's got this crazy long root, which is awesome. It obviously means it's super happy, but at the same time, it's in this box that doesn't get tons and tons of light, so I think that's why it might not be growing those sort of like variegations on its leaves anymore. But otherwise it is super happy. I got this one as I think like a 1 or 2 leaf cutting ages and ages ago, like over a year ago at this point. So I mean, I'm not mad at it, but I definitely haven't been giving it the best of care. It's also one of the few Syngoniums that I've kind of kept in my Syngonium cull. I don't know if you call it a cull. I've gone off them. I've said it loads in the last, I don't know, few months that I've just like not been feeling Syngoniums very much. But this is one that I still do like. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It just kind of is. But it's a cool one, and I'm hoping that if I can put it in maybe a bit of a better spot, then I can get more of this variegation, because I feel like that's the cool part of this plant, is that it's got these cool, beautiful green leaves, but it's also got the variegation in there. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool plant. It's a little bit funky. It's not your average Syngonium, but it's also not like insane crazy. So I don't know, it's kind of middle of the range plant for me in my sort of brain at the minute, which maybe means that I shouldn't keep it, but I don't want to give it away either. I really, so that's the thing. I don't want to give them away, but I don't not want to keep them. Oh, double negatives. Does that make it okay? I think we all have some plants like this. I would be very curious to know as well some of your plants that you don't talk about or don't show or anything like that. Because, like, there's just some in every collection that just, maybe they aren't as aesthetically pleasing, maybe they're not growing as much, maybe they're just so chill that you don't think about them enough to, like, think about showing them on Plantstagram or whatever. But, yeah. Sorry if the camera angle changed slightly. Cleo knocked the tripod, so it is what it is. But the next one that I want to talk about is this little guy here. This is my Black Pagoda lipstick plant, or variegated lipstick plant. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong with that ID. I definitely know it's a Black Pagoda. I'm not sure about the lipstick plant part, but I grew this one from cuttings a while back that I rooted in water, and I just think it's so cool. Like, look at the backs of these leaves. How can I show you this well? Look at that. They're so cool. They're like purple and almost like snake skinny, which is awesome. But this one's actually growing quite well. A lot of the stems, I mean 2 of the 3, have got a decent bit of new growth on them. And, you know what I noticed the other day? It's got some new growth in there just popping out of the soil. So, like, obviously it has to be happy if it's putting out this much new growth. I do know that I need to water this one more often. It lives on the shelves of my bedroom, and so, like, I feel like the plants in my bedroom tend to be the ones that just don't get as much attention. I try and keep mostly low maintenance plants in there, and I know this one is a fairly low maintenance one. I probably could give it more light as well. It does get mother grow light for like maybe 5 to 10 hours a day, maybe more. It depends on when or if I remember / decide to automate the grow lights there. It does change every now and then. And I also, like, obviously absolutely adore this pot because, like, look how cool it is. It's my little bust pot. And, like, I love this sort of, like, overgrown from the statue look, like ancient ruins style. So, yes, absolutely love this one. And I'm surprised I don't show it more because it is really cool. I think maybe once it gets a bit bigger, it'll be one that I end up showing more because it is so, like, fun and funky. But, yeah. Next up, I will talk about this one. This is another bedroom plant. This here. I don't think I've spoken about this one since I got it from House of Kojo, like, last year, I think it was. This is an Nema White Lance, and I really do like Nemas. I think they are such a cool, chill staple. Like, you really don't need to worry about them that much, and I do love the silveriness of its leaves. I mean, maybe it's not silver, it's like the sort of like light innards of them I quite like. People are doing stuff outside my window. Maybe I'll close my window. That's probably the best idea. Okay, I closed the window now, so sorry if you can still hear them. But yeah, this is my Aglaonema White Lance, and they're so chill. Like, I just don't need to worry about it at all. And I think what happens is I end up underwatering this because I'm not paying attention to it as much as some of my other ones. I think I might prefer to be getting a little bit more water than I'm giving it. But it's just one of those things. I mean, I also really love how it looks in this skull pie. It's a bit of, like, it's kind of like a mohawk, which is fun. But yeah, like, I don't know. I just don't think it's as photogenic as I wanted it to be. And I think maybe this one needs to be another one that I put on the list of plants that maybe need to go to a new home. I think I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with my plant collection at the minute. Like, it's only in times when I'm like super busy. Like this month is kind of chaos for me at a minute, and I know my plant care slips when I'm super busy. Like, I'll notice these plants needing water, but I'm just like, I can't do that right now. I've got like so many other things on my mind, and like I've got to go, or I've got to, like, I notice something as I'm leaving the house and I'm like, that's not super helpful. I'm not going to remember to water that later on. Like, I'm not being the best at it right now, and I know this one has definitely suffered a bit from it. It's not feeling as wilty as it could be, but I do know that this one needs a good bit of water. And also, since the days are getting longer, I need to be watering more frequently, which I don't have time to right now. Oh, I'm just too busy. I'm being a very busy person right now, which is very unlike me, but such is life. I don't have 100% of time to care for my plants right now. Anyways, carrying on. We've got this one, which also needs water. Is this a theme? This is my Amidrium medium silver, and I feel like I have touched on this one a couple of times throughout like the last year or whatever, but I find this to be one of the slowest freaking growing plants ever. I've had this one for like, I swear, maybe a year and a half, 2 years at this point. And this is how big it is. And it's living in my IKEA cabinet with literally ideal conditions. Of course, I could probably water this moss pole a bit more and I guess extend it now that it's quite close to the top. But it's just like, it's given me 4 leaves in 2 years. What is with that? And so I just end up not showing it because it's like, it takes so long to put out new growth that, like, I guess you would think that I would be like more excited when new growth happens, but I'm not. I'm just kind of like resenting it for being so slow. And I mean, also this newest growth isn't the most amazing, but I mean, it is still really pretty, and like I wanted to love this plant. I really wanted to love this plant because it's got everything that I like in houseplants. Like, look at that shine of the like silvery blueness in its leaves. It's got fenestrations, it climbs, like, it's got all the right bits. It's just, something's not working for me with it, and unfortunately it means that I rarely ever talk about it just because there's nothing really to talk about or show because it doesn't do anything. I mean, it's a beautiful plant. I would love to have a big, huge, bushy one. Maybe one day I can, but at the current prices, I mean, not that they're huge, but I don't think I would want to buy a huge one because it would probably cost a lot because they're so damn slow to grow. But yeah, that's that one. Again, another silvery blue plant. Like, for someone who's obsessed with blue silvery plants, I have several silvery blue plants on this list that I just don't talk about or show. This is a Philodendron silver sword. This is my like 5th Philodendron silver sword. I have constantly struggled with this plant for like the entire time I've had houseplants. I've had several of these and I just can't seem to get it right. I found that they are quite prone to thrips. I think even this one has had thrips, but I got this one as like slightly more mature cuttings. You can see that it's got bigger leaves down here, and I mean, it has since kind of gotten smaller and smaller because I've not given it support, so that is a me problem. But I've just always really struggled with it and not been able to keep it happy, and it just, that, like, I just don't think this looks nice, and so it ends up being one that I don't show. And it's one that I want to have a big, beautiful, like, Philodendron silver sword. I've wanted one for the entire time I've been collecting plants, because it's like, again, everything that I love in a plant, like the bluey silveriness, the climbing, the like crazy leaves that are fun shapes, but it's just not happened for me. This video kind of sounds like it's a struggling video, but these are plants, maybe I don't show them because I'm struggling with them. That would make sense. But this one is also on the top shelf, kind of next to the Matophyllum Bipinati Fidum, up on a top shelf where I like can't really see it that well. It's behind some things and I just end up forgetting about it. And like I think it's such a shame because I don't want to get rid of it because I love it. And I love the idea of it. But this one is just, I feel like I can't give up on another one. Oh, maybe it is just one that needs to not live in my home. But they're also so easy care. Like, besides them getting thrips loads or like being one of the biggest thrip magnets I've had in my collection, for some reason, I don't know if I'm the only one who's experienced that. Please tell me if you've also experienced that with the silver sword, because I really hope I'm not the only one. But yeah, other than that, they are fairly easy plants to take care of and fairly low maintenance. I should probably just get this on a stake or a pole or something. I don't know. It's just a bit like, it's a bit of an awkward one. It doesn't look amazing. It's fine, it just doesn't look amazing. Another pole plant I have is this one, which I am pretty sure is a Philodendron gigas, I think. I find a lot of these like dark velvety philodendrons that are climbing quite difficult to ID when they are young. I find that they look fairly similar. I could be wrong. If the idea of this one is wrong, again, tell me. But like, I have not had the best of luck with this one. I've really struggled to get it to grow nicely. I've had like a couple points where I've had to cut it there and like around there or something, where it's just like something's gone wrong with it, and so it's just not one that I feel like I can talk about very well yet. I don't think I have a handle on it or how to keep it happy, and it's not the prettiest, and it's growing slowly. I think this one's just got all the things, and like I really want to have this one and grow it really nice and big. Like obviously I've got it on a pole. Obviously the pole is not damp. Maybe I am having an issue with poles again. Now that I'm like really busy and it's getting warmer, poles aren't my priority. But like if I only have 10 minutes to water, I will just water my poles and nothing else. Because that's like the easiest thing to water. But I maybe need to give a lot of them like a big spray down soak again, because I think that would probably help them out a little bit, including this one. This one also lives in my Millsbow cabinet here. And it still looks like this. I don't know, I feel like, obviously the Millsbow cabinet isn't magical or anything, but I would hope it would help me do something a little bit better than this. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's an okay, happy-ish plant. I just don't feel like I can show it because I'm not proud of it. I'm definitely not proud of this one. I want to be proud of it. I want to grow it to a point where I can be proud of it, but I'm definitely not proud of it right now. Okay, so I have two more. This one is my Hoya sigilatus, which is very crookedly sitting on this trellis, which is probably a little bit too big for it. It's fine, and maybe not the right balance, because I should probably give it something that's more vertical so it can go up better. But I've had this one for like 6 months now, and I swear it's not grown. Or if it has, I haven't noticed. It has been such a slow grower. And I mean, it's okay, but I find I prefer Hoyas when I can see them growing a little bit more. And like, I don't know. I feel like it's also quite hard to capture the beauty of this one because of its sort of texture. It's more of a matte texture, and I guess it's kind of got like little fuzzy hairs on it. But it's hard to show the beautiful variegation that it does have and like the purpliness of it on camera. I don't think it like does it justice. And like one of my favorite things to do when I'm taking pictures for Instagram is to like make my plants look how they look in my eyes. And like that's the only reason I edit my plants in my pictures on Instagram, because I'm trying to make them look like how I see them. And I think I struggle to make this one look how I see it, and even if I did, it's just so lopsided. But again, that's a me problem, and how I've decided to grow it. Maybe a different shaped trellis would be a bit better for it, but yeah, it's just a funky little guy, and I want it to grow really well. And I think maybe when it's filled this out a little bit or gotten a bit bigger, I will show it more often. But I find showing it in any sort of like positive light is not an easy task. And I also don't necessarily think I've gotten it down like care-wise. It's not perfect. Most of my Hoyas are treated fairly similarly, but like this one's definitely growing on the slower side. And some of you are probably going to say it's probably got flat mites or something, where it very well could. I don't know if I did check this one or not. Probably not, but I probably should. Maybe I will check that. Maybe I should do another round of checking for flat mites on my Hoyas. Microscopes! They're fun. I find the microscope really fun, and like when I'm actually actively pulling it out to like look for things in a big way, I like it. But just for one or two plants, I pretty much never pull it out. So yeah, this last one is gonna be a bit of a mission to pull out, because it is so awkward and long. This is probably one of my oldest plants at this point in time. This is my Synapsis or Skindapsis Trebi Moonlight, or Trubii Moonlight, Trebi Moonlight, Moonshine, the moony one. And this one just lives in my bedroom, but it's got the longest, leggiest runners. I literally can't even show you. That's not even half of the length of the runner. I just found that this plant grows very leggy for me, and I don't know if that's a light thing. I think it's getting plenty of light. It's gotta grow light near enough it. Maybe I just need to chop and prop it more. I have chopped and propped this one loads in the time I've had it, but it's kind of just stopped giving me these beautiful big silvery leaves that I like. I mean, again, another silver plant. It just feels like it's not that sort of Instagram aesthetic Trebi Moonlight that I want it to be. It is a fairly big one, but it's not giving me the perfect plant vibes that I do tend to try and do that for my pictures on Instagram, because I want to showcase the beauty of my plants. Most of my plants are not perfect. All of my plants are not perfect. I don't think I have a single perfect plant in my collection, but like, you still want to make them look nice. And I feel like I can't make this one look nice, and maybe part of it is also the situation it's in. It's on my bookshelf, and I don't find my books to be that aesthetically pleasing with my plants. It's just not the right books or something like that. So it just ends up being one that kind of gets forgotten, and I just leave it to like tendril and be long and a bit awkward in my home, which is unfortunate because I do really like this one. This was one of my first plants that I was just like absolutely in love with because of its gorgeous leaves and its synapsisness. It's just so cool, and I'm sad that I don't show it more. I think this is probably one that I am the most sad about because it is such a cool plant. It's just, I don't think I'm growing it in a way that promotes it in a positive light. I don't know. It's just a bit funky and weird, and like, it's just like a staple of my collection. I don't even think about it anymore. It just lives, and it's fine. So, yeah. That's that one. Oh, it's so awkward, and I have untangled it for y'all to be in this video, because like, it just keeps going on forever. I will, maybe now that I've taken it down, I will take the time to repot it or something. Maybe chop it up. We'll see. I don't know. I've taken it down now, so I can do something with it. But yeah, those are, I think, 10 plants that I don't talk about much, either on here, YouTube, or show over on my Instagram, for a myriad of reasons that I have just shared. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching this. I really hope you enjoyed it, and thanks to my patrons as well for picking this video out. I am so excited that they did, because it is fun sharing the plants that I don't talk about very much, because like they deserve love too. So yeah. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. I need to say a big thank you to Kim Panic, the newest member of my Good Growing fam over on Patreon. So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it, and I really hope you love it over there. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things that you'd like me to talk about in the future. And don't forget to subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!